Train the muscles, not the joints. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about changing your workouts into cardio workouts or endurance workouts. And I met a guy yesterday at the gym, and he was doing, he's basically missed the gym for quite a while, so he's doing the guilt workouts, right? And the guilt workouts always look like he's straining your ass off, trying to gain strength, and then running around from one thing to the next and doing circuit type training, and basically in a hurry to lose a bunch of weight, but at the same time not necessarily thinking about the strategy along the way. So what he was doing was just basically looking at how he could speed his progress by rushing through everything and trying to throw everything into a bag of tricks and basically do endurance work, cardio work. Sorry, I'm just navigating here, as you can see. Yeah, right here. Okay. So basically what he was trying to do is just do everything at once, like, everything but the kitchen sink type workouts. And that's okay, sometimes to get the groove going. So if you want to just get the blood going, whatever motivates you, I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not saying you should never do that. But one thing you got to watch out for is if you get too stuck in just working hard but not working smart. Okay guys, all right, that's just not right. Anyway, duck's interrupting my video here. So the fact is that if you're going to be doing workouts and you want to put on muscle to gain that metabolism, all this kind of stuff, because this guy was talking about strength, right? He's saying, oh, I'm so weak compared to what I was before, I should be lifting way heavier, and he's talking about strongman stuff and whatever, and whether he was strong before or whether he wasn't doesn't matter to me. I mean, the bottom line though is that he was heavily caught up in guilt. That's my point, basically. He was just trying to get it all in. So the thing is that when you're starting to do a lot of cardio and stuff all the time, you will notice that your body will choose endurance over strength. So it is okay to do the lower volume strength type workouts, especially when you're a natural bodybuilder, because you need to gain the strength and teach the body that it needs to gain strength first and foremost, and then change that into strength endurance, which is much different than cardio.
Some different shots for you.
That's some dangerous shit right there. That's some dangerous shit. Badass. Now, I've talked about this a lot of times, but I thought I'd just make a video specifically about it while I'm walking on this trail here. The trail is pretty nice. You notice? It's a pretty nice trail. And so I'm going to, just explain that your body doesn't want to put on muscle. It doesn't want to put on strength. And there are people out there that put on strength from, perfecting their nervous system and everything, and then they get caught up in just strength. And I'm not saying for you to do that, but just remember that if you're just doing cardio type workouts and just doing circuit workouts, it might hinder your progress in the long run. Yeah, you might have some good cardio endurance, but that doesn't mean you're going to actually have more strength. So if you want to put on muscle, first and foremost, you need to put on strength and not treat your workouts like they're just endurance workouts. And there's a difference between a drag car that does a quarter mile real fast and a Baja racing type car, right? They're built totally different. The suspension's different, the engine's different, and it's the same thing with your body. So when you're becoming a real bodybuilder, especially a natural bodybuilder, you need to put on strength and then work with strength endurance, but not so much with the cardio aspect. If you're doing too much of the cardio and too much of the circuit training all over the place, you will notice that that might impede your progress over the long run. It's good to do for short periods of time, but you don't want to do that as your steady state type of workout.
Gallant! Gallant!
That's right. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. That's how you do it. Like a lot of times people say, you know, Jason, you're not a powerlifter, you're a bodybuilder and all that. And really what I am is in some cases, I was a powerlifter with certain ranges of motion. Okay, so yeah, sure, I wasn't doing parallel squats, but at the same time, I was working with the range of motion that I felt was most efficient for me to hit the muscles that I wanted. And at the same time, I was still trying to put on strength. So I was doing powerlifting for periods of time and saying, okay, how can I gain strength here and lift heavy? It's just that I found that there was a point of diminishing return if you're lifting heavy all the time. So hence mixing up the rep ranges and all that. So it's okay to go for periods of time where you do lower volume, but you just challenge yourself with weight. Because like I've said before, heavier weight is a little bit more stressful on the body overall, especially the joints and the tissues and everything. But at the same time, you will hit different fibers and you'll also perfect your groove and your nervous system. So perfecting that nervous system groove is a big part of strength. So you want to push that. So lately I've been doing a little bit heavier sets of benches. I've been doing 315 for a few sets and stuff. And I'm going to try to push there for a bit. But because it is a little bit harder on the body, more taxing, I'm going to lower the volume because of that. So if I was doing lighter weight, it's easier for me to do. Okay, let me just say this. Watch my video on how I measure volume. I'm not measuring volume in poundages and stuff. I measure volume in sets to failure. That's how I measure it. And the reason why is because I found that that was the most accurate way for me to gauge how hard something was on my body or not. Now, if I do a set of 315 for sets of 5 reps, 6 reps, 4 reps, whatever it is I can do that day, and I'm doing that for 5 or 6 sets, I find that a lot harder on my body than doing a set of 225 for sets of 25 to 30 reps for 6 sets or 7 sets, even though the volume is much higher according to the normal standards of poundage lifted, as far as that's how a lot of guys are measuring volume, right? So for me, I find that lifting heavier is a lot harder on the body overall, a lot harder on the joints and ligaments and tendons and muscles. And because of that, I feel that you can get away with less sets when you're lifting heavier. This is nice. Look at that. That's some nice stuff right there, hey? I find heavier weight, less sets. That's the bottom line. Unless, of course, you're conservatively doing the heavyweight. So you can do a heavyweight that you can do 5 reps with, but you're only doing 2 reps with it. Yeah, you can get away with more sets because you're not really taking that set to the brink of failure. But in the end, you will have lower amounts of volume. There will be a lower amount of volume in that workout because you're not lifting the same poundage. So that's why I found that that old way of measuring volume is not necessarily as accurate as just sets taken to failure. And basically that is volume. How many sets did I take to failure? And heavier weight, that seems to be a little bit harder. So it seems to be harder on the system. And that's the bottom line. I find that that's just what I found. Heavier weight taken to failure is a lot harder on the system, so you want to be more sparing with that. But it does make sense to lower down the amount of sets that you do in your workout for periods of time and then go heavier and higher in the intensity. Just make sure that you're warmed up first. That's all. So I hope this helps you with your workouts. I hope this helps you find what works for you. And thanks a lot for watching, and make sure you check out my website, naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, if you need music or workout programs or t-shirts or whatever. And thanks a lot to the Patreon supporters. All right, take care for now. Look at that house. Ooh. That's a nice house. What do you think? That's a nice house. That's gonna be my house. That'll be my house. a few more of you guys are gonna have to help me on Patreon in order for me to get that, but like about 10,000 more people are gonna have to help me on Patreon before I can get that.